speaker, Dr. John Cosby, is going to speak about the practical daily application of Ayurveda in your life. Dr. John Cosby studied Ayurveda under the tutelage of Dr. Vasant Lad, a very well-renowned Ayurvedic practitioner in New Mexico, for almost 20 years, I believe. And Dr. Lad asked him, please now go to medical school and further continue your medical training. Dr. Cosby is based in Miami. He practices Eastern and Western medicine. He flies frequently back and forth to New York, where he has a practice as well. He has served with the U.S. Reserves overseas. Half the time, I'm not sure if he's here in Iran, Afghanistan. And he's also working on his new book on yoga and Ayurveda. Dr. Cosby.
Is it on? How you doing? I don't like to stand still, so I'm going to walk around and interchange with the audience. I find it's more interactive. I went to, I'm a family physician, but my love is Ayurvedic medicine. I've studied this since 1989. The first book I ever read on Ayurvedic, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And Dr. Lad told me I should go to med school. And I looked at him as if he was crazy. I never wanted to go to med school, but I did. Excuse me for a second. I'm dehydrated. Anyway, so what I did was, I started studying Ayurveda, and I realized everything in Ayurveda, in the whole physical world, in our universe, is made up of 5 elements. Space. Just look at this room. It's all space. If you took a high-power microscopic instrument, you would see your whole body is space. It appears to be solid, but it's not. Your heart chamber is empty. Blood flows in, blood flows out. As a family physician, if you get real good at listening to heart, you get a stethoscope, you put it over the sternum on the left side, you can tell what that heart is doing. I was taught by a very specialist heart cardiac surgeon who taught me the art of the sound of the heart. So all sound, which is the second element, vibrates in the world. We had a speaker today. He spoke about nada, which is sound. We communicate through sound. Our thoughts turn into words, and then we express ourselves. So we have space, which is the basis of everything in the universe. Then we have air. Then we have fire. Fire is essential. You cannot digest your foods unless you have what? Hydrochloric acid, other acids metabolizing enzymes, hormones. Fire is also important. The thing I loved about Ayurvedic was it gets very subtle. Here in the West, we think in very gross terms. When you get to the East, it's very subtle. So vision is what? Vision is fire. The light has to touch the back of the eye, the retina. You have cones, you have rods, changes it into color, into images, which is relayed into the brain. So Ayurvedic is really cool if you get into it. Then you have light on your skin. It absorbs the rays of the sun. The next is the water, the 4th element. Water flows through your body. 60 to 70% of your body is water. It's like Mother Earth. Coincidence? No. Everything that's in a macrocosm is in the microcosm. There is no difference. And again, the beautiful thing about Ayurvedic is it gets very subtle. You can begin, you don't even have to be a physician to understand Ayurveda. Of course, if you go to Ayurvedic college in India, it's 4 years like med school here. It's a very in-depth, comprehensive science. But it was also meant for the average person. In the Indian home, in India, you can smell the medicine cabinet. It's the kitchen. All the herbs, the aroma, beautiful. 30 years ago, I was living in Michigan. I went to Michigan State Med School. Prior to that, a Hare Krishna family invited me over for lunch. And I remember walking into their home, and they had a little girl 6 years old. And as soon as I walked into the home, I could smell the Indian food. Salivating. Can you see it? You could actually feel the food. And the house was clean, and he brought me to the dining room table. It was a big vase, a whole bunch of colorful flowers. So sight was fulfilled. You could smell it, and then when you tasted it, it was out of this world. And the amazing thing was that the little girl who was 6 years old was very well behaved, and she had a dress on. Very little dialogue. In the West, we go out for dinner, we can't shut up. Everyone's chattering. But in the East, you learn to eat, enjoy your food. I've had the privilege to go to China several times, India many times, and now my love is Thailand. Song Duang Pai Muang Thai. I go to Thailand every 2 months. The beautiful thing about the East is, and I'm going to start getting into foods, is I take all my friends out, 8 to 12, 13 of them, every time I go, every 2 months, and I treat them. And when we go, there's a big table, 4 tables, and everyone orders a dish, and it's put in the middle. And we start eating everyone else's meal. We take from the middle. Can you see it? What do we do in the West? We order our plate. This is mine. You want to try some? You give them a little speck. Sharing. Isn't it an important lesson? Compassion. So the East has taught me so much in 40 years when I first began meditating. I was initiated. Been doing yoga for 40 years. Strict vegetarian. You don't have to be a vegetarian. Vegetarian teaches you how to eat correctly. So the 5 elements, we're going to get back into this. Remember, is space. Even a big steak has space in it. Then you have air, fire, water, and earth. So with those 5 elements, every personality in here is made up of 2 of those dominant elements. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. How many people know Vata, Pitta, Kapha? Okay, quite a few. These are categories that Ayurvedic expressed as individuals. If you're Vata, you're space and air, the 2 of the lightest of the 5 elements. Very thin. Can you see it? Crooked nose. Very tall, too small, irregular. Light. Mobile. Can you see how their minds think? They think very fast. Constantly. And if you're real Vata, you think, and what happens? You get exhausted mentally. Now we have mental exhaustion. But as a family physician, over almost 25 years, I've noticed insomnia. I've never treated so many people with insomnia. Family physician, we're the front runners, the front barriers to medicine. What is insomnia? Ayurvedic was so sharp in its thinking, there's 3 types of insomnia. Vata, you can't go to sleep because your mind won't let you. Then there's the Pitta person, fiery. But you need fire. Discrimination of the mind, intelligence. But if you get too much Pitta, we become sharp with the tongue. So about 2 or 3 in the morning, you wake up because the heat of your thoughts begins to wake you. See the difference? Can't go to sleep, Fell asleep, now you wake up. Kapha people are the heaviest, earth and water. They're compassionate, loving. We don't just think of them as being very obese, overweight. No. Samoans, there's a lot of healthy Kapha people. But if your Kapha is out of balance, then you don't want to get up. You want to stay in bed. They can sleep for 8, 10 hours. So with these 5 elements, we can see the personality, the physical attributes. You can take it a step further, and that's what this is all about, foods, the type of foods you eat. Being a meditator for 40 years, what I've learned is to become intuitive with your thoughts. In the Western world, it's a very foreign concept because we're not taught how to think, how to control your mind. If you can focus your mind on the war for 15, 20 minutes, you have control of your mind. But most people, distraction. It's like 42nd Street on Broadway with all the lights and distractions. What's the cause of all these diseases that we're beginning to see? I've never treated so many people with depression. It was like 1 or 2 20 years ago. I'm not going to tell you what the numbers are now. Anxiety, oh my God. It seems like everyone has anxiety. People talk like Xanax as though it's candy. You know, it's so prevalent. I was fortunate, I was in Iraq twice with the military as a medical officer. And I got to see some, speak before I know, wonderful work. That is real trauma when you go to the Middle East, especially in wartime. I was very fortunate coming back. Took me probably about a year to get the mind back. But again, it's true. Concentration, meditation, proper foods. Your emotions are tied into your foods. If you're anxiety-driven, distracted easily, what kind of foods are you going to be attracted to? Similar to foods. Sattvic foods are the best foods. Pure. You're not going to go bad with fruits. Tofu is another good dish. If you're vegetarian, tofu is much protein as red meat. Doesn't give you colon, doesn't give you obesity. So you can supplement. You can change foods. Rice cake is vata, air and space, right? A lot of space. But if you put peanut butter on it and jelly, you change the quality of that food. So you can change food depending on your constitution. The other thing is don't make every meal like Thanksgiving and be tired afterwards. Ayurvedically says 1/3 of your stomach is food, 1/3 is water, 1/3 is empty. But what do we do in the East? In the West? We try to get that big plate, and that's a good meal. You go to France, there's a big plate and a little speckle of foods. It's just the opposite. They've learned the secret many years ago. But I prefer the East because I've been going to Asia now, probably 20, 30 years, so I'm used to it. I want to get into some herbs now. I'm big into herbs, and that's what I do a lot. I'm changing my practice from physical medicine Ayurvedically to the mind. The mind, Charak Samhita, written 2,500 years ago, states that the root of all disease stems from the mind. So see how important meditation, concentration, and focus is? If you can't control your mind, then your mind is going to be scattered. But once you begin to do it, and when you look at foods, I tell people self-inquiry. Look at the food. See if it agrees with you. It's called self-inquiry. The Sanskrit word is called viveka. Inquire. Is that going to be good for me or not? Then meditate on it. No, don't go into a dark room, but feel the food, right? Feel it. You never go wrong. There's two brains. In the West, it's here in the brain, we think, but the real brain is the heart, the hridaya. You never go wrong. So if you do this approach with food, you should be able to go into Whole Foods and kind of say, wow, you vibrate to it. Foods talk to you, but you got to develop that technique. It doesn't happen in 2 days. You have to develop it. If you do japa, if you do deep prayer, if you meditate, it comes easier to you. I heard a conversation, I was around associates. The whole conversation was about losing weight. It's amazing how much we talk about it. Lose weight. So much time and energy wasted. If you eat the right foods, your energy, you can go 48 hours. Your thoughts,